When Steve Austin was asked by Vince McMahon to stop using the middle finger, he said that he wouldn't change shit and claimed, "I'd be damned if anybody was going to take anything from me. I'm going to run over you and we're going to the top, or I'm going to the top and you're going to come along for the ride. No, give me a hell yeah." Okay, I'm paraphrasing. Sorry about that. I know that's very terrible. But this man is the symbol of the attitude in the Attitude Era. He's a total freaking badass. Welcome to Extreme Joe. Today the talk of the turn is 10 stone cold facts you didn't know about Steve Austin. Number 10. Austin broke Stallone's neck. When you look at the cast list for The Expendables, there must have been a ridiculous amount of testosterone flowing on that movie set. With so many tough guys, everyone was vying to prove their worth. Things got to a whole new level, and when Austin ended up causing Stallone a hairline fracture in his neck, the result of which required surgery and the placement of a metal plate in his neck, Stallone ended up having to spend 3 weeks in the hotel recovering from the injury because they never wanted him to be seen with a neck brace. Austin admitted that he wasn't aware of the extent of the injuries until the reports started coming out well after the injury had healed. Number 9. He walked out on the company in 2002. There are a lot of moments in Austin's career that he probably wishes he could do differently. One that has to stand out is in 2002, when instead of losing to Brock Lesnar in a cold match on Monday Night Raw, Austin decided to walk out on the company. Austin talked about the experience in 2015, saying, "I was drinking a lot of whiskey and then Ross laid out the finish for me and I was laying in the hotel room. I said, if that's creative, I ain't going to be there, and he told me to call Vince." Austin then called McMahon, who reiterated the same message as Jim Ross, leading Austin to tell McMahon to fuck off. While talking about the experience, Austin admitted, "It was basically career suicide for almost anybody. I lost a lot of money. The company lost a lot of money. It was just a bad part of my life that I handled in a horrible fashion. I blew that one and it was on me." Number 8. His depression after retirement. It's unfortunate to always read about athletes that struggle to adjust to normal life after retirement. But when you consider how popular Austin was, are you really surprised? Imagine going from hearing your name chanted on a weekly basis to nothing at all. This is especially evident considering how Austin left the company in 2002 on such negative terms. When talking about the adjustment post-wrestling, Austin admitted, "My neck wasn't in a good way. I was living pretty fast. I hunted, I fished, and I drank. And not specifically in that order. It took me 3 years to get the business out of my system and really come to grasp with that was going on. Retirement always sounds good, but man, it's boring as hell." Number 7. His wife came out with Stone Cold. When it comes to being a successful wrestler, you're only going to be as good as strong as your best gimmick. For Austin, when the time came to change his name in WWE, he was given several potential names including Otto Von Ruthless, Ice Dagger, and Fang McFrost. Oh my god. Austin was sitting at home with his wife Jenny, who made him a cup of tea, and the two were venting about potential wrestling names, causing her to say, "Don't worry about it. You'll think of something. Go ahead and drink your tea before it gets stone cold." Huh, that's your name, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You can imagine the fact that she was responsible for it is something she probably never lets him live down. Austin said the character was also based on the serial killer Richard Kulkinski, who was nicknamed the Iceman, and that on this day he was watching an HBO special on him. We can be thankful both that Austin never killed anybody and that he didn't go with Fang McFrost. Like, seriously? Number 6. His domestic abuse charge. You aren't going to be able to create a list on Steve Austin and not get into the incredibly ugly side of his domestic abuse history with Deborah Marshall. Marshall was Austin's third out of 4 wives, who he was married to from 2000 to 2003. In 2002, Marshall called police after Austin allegedly beat her on the head, back, and legs, and then ran out of the house. When police arrived, Deborah was seen with a swollen cheek and eyes and several bruises. Austin was eventually arrested, charged with domestic abuse, and given a year's probation, a $1,000 fine, and 80 hours of community service. Marshall admitted this was a result of roid rage and said that she had attacked him on 3 separate occasions. Marshall also said that WWE was well aware of this and that they would work hard to conceal her bruises so as not to break the company's image. God damn it, that's shallow. That's damn shallow. Number 5. What he thinks the problem with WWE is. When Austin sat down for an interview shortly after WrestleMania 32, there were many things to discuss, including the fact that Austin thought it would be the last time he set foot in a ring. Given that, Austin felt his time with the company was done. It allowed him to also open up about what the problem was with the current superstars on the roster. Austin shared the same complaint felt by many fans, which is that the wrestlers nowadays lack the personality to really stand out. Austin continued to rant, saying they're manufactured, micromanaged, they're too produced, and it's not organic. And so you can start with Roman Reigns and you can trickle that down to 99% of the roster, other than the Bray Wyatts of the world, and they're getting the same results. I would predict that almost the whole card would be more over than they already are due to how they're booked, if they would let these damn kids express themselves for a shoot. Number 4. His relationship with Vince. Austin is going to be the first person to admit that in the wrestling business, it's easy to get your feelings hurt. This list is proof enough of moments where Austin was told one thing and another happened. But in 2015, when he was asked about his relationship with Vince, Austin also made sure to throw some kind words his way, saying, at times he's been like a father figure, a brother, a mentor, a best friend, and an enemy. There was a short window of time when I say enemy, but we were at odds every now and again. This is a high-stakes business that is extremely personal. When talking about his work ethic, Austin had nothing but praise for his longtime boss, saying, Vince barely sleeps. He will outwork anybody I've ever met. He's built an empire and worked his ass off to do it. No one ever handed him anything. The vision and the guts that he's had, I can't say enough about the guy. I have total respect for him. Number 3. The complete story behind Austin 316. Having a fantastic gimmick is a great part of making it as a wrestler. But let's face it, having a witty catchphrase definitely doesn't hurt. When Austin was interviewed at the King of the Ring pay-per-view in 1996, a legacy was born when he exclaimed, Austin 316 said, I just whooped your ass. Oh my god, that was so attitude-y. Austin was teasing Jake the Snake Roberts, who had used John 316 in a previous promo. When Austin sat down with WWE for an interview, they asked if he had planned his infamous speech or if it had just come out of him, leading Austin to say, as I was getting my lip stitched up following my match against Mark Merrow, I was told that Jake Roberts just did an interview about me, referencing John 3:16. I knew the verse, but I also remembered that at football games there was always a fan in the end zone holding up a sign that said John 3:16. So it was a pretty famous quote to begin with, and after I won the tournament, it just came to me on the fly. To me, it was pure luck that Austin 316 would become what it did. It is still one of the most popular phrases in WWE history, and anyone who doesn't like it can piss off. Spoken like only Stone Cold could, baby. Number 2, his thoughts on people taking his stunner. You can imagine that Austin probably had a pretty solid sense of ownership over the moves that he made famous, which is why when stars like John Cena and Randy Orton started doing versions of it, you can understand why some fans thought Austin would be upset, but that couldn't be further from the truth. And when talking about the very thing, Austin also made sure to highlight how much he loves Cena, saying, "Man, there's not a bigger John Cena fan on the planet Earth than Steve Austin. There is no one I respect more on the crew than Cena. If he wanted to use the Stone Cold Stunner exactly as it was, I'd have no problem with it. And that's the bottom line." Number 1, how much he made and what he accomplished. There are various reports on how much Austin earned when he was in the company, but when his ex-wife Deborah Marshall was asked about it in 2007, she said that it was upwards of $12 million a year. Other reports say in 1998, Austin took home $1.2 million and also earned a large chunk out of merchandising. But either way, there is little doubt that Austin is one of the most financially successful wrestlers of all time. Austin has also translated his success into an acting career and overall has amassed a net worth of $45 million. Austin was a 6-time WWF champion, a 2-time Intercontinental champion, and held the Tag Team Championship 4 times. He also won King of the Ring in 1996. Austin also held the WCW World Television Championship twice, the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship twice, and the WCW Tag Team Championship, of course. Last but not the least, as you are well aware, Steve Austin has been inducted into WWE Hall of Fame. And that's the bottom line, because Shurabacharya says so. Remember that.